Hey guys, Coach Napalm with Killer Tendencies Fight Apparel. I'm here with Evan the Phenom Elder, who just had his second pro fight on Friday. We're going to ask Evan some questions just about what Evan's doing, and then also kind of follow up to our weight cut series. Take it from a fighter of things that go right and go wrong with weight cuts. So let's talk first about Evan. You just had your second pro fight. How was it?
It was awesome. I was able to get first round finish, submission. So got out of there without any injuries. So everything went as planned.
Nice. And how many fights in a row now is it first round finish?
My first and second pro, and then my last amateur. So three first round finishes in a row right now.
Nice.
Yep.
What challenges did you have for this fight camp? I know you moved to Florida recently to train in a badass gym.
Yeah, there was actually a lot of stuff to kind of overcome and kind of work through. It made, I feel like traveling really makes dieting hard. So that was a big thing, was me moving. I moved down to Florida, drove down there, and trying to get settled in, find my own spot. I was staying with at my buddy's on my buddy's couch for a couple weeks, and finally found my own spot, and then trying to get settled into a new gym that's way more intense than I'm used to. So I was working out a lot more, trying to figure out, what I should be, how much more I should be eating to kind of account for that. And then flying back to fight, got super sick the week of the week of the fight. There was a lot of stuff this fight camp, kind of went wrong, but it's good. I was able to, everything still went well, and we were able to do everything the way it still needed to be done, and work through everything. So everything's a learning experience. Definitely learned a lot and overcame a lot. So now I know, almost no matter what gets thrown at me during a weight cut, I can work through it and make sure my weight cut goes smooth.
Darn right. And that's what's great about you, Evan. You stay on track no matter what, and overcome the crazy crap that happens in your life. Life is going to happen. You got to push it through.
Yep.
So how long have you been fighting, and what have you learned? Have you ever had a bad weight cut?
Yeah, most definitely. I believe my one loss, a lot of things went into that, my loss. I had one loss as an amateur in MMA, and I had a horrible weight cut, very tough opponent. Luckily I lost to a reputable guy. He was really cool too, so it was nice not losing to kind of a arrogant dude or anything. But yeah, there's definitely, I could literally immediately tell, first off, the bad weight cut, I just felt horrible doing it. It was just miserable. And then I was so dehydrated that literally, I remember the walk up the steps to get in the cage. I was walking up the steps to get up in the cage to fight, and my legs were so tired just doing that. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's about to be a long fight. And but that's really the only time it's happened. That's my only bad weight cut I've had. I guess I wouldn't say it's my only bad weight cut, but that was the worst one for sure.
What do you think went wrong on that time? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I tried cutting weight in like 2 weeks. I was young. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know anything about nutrition, and I waited way too long to start trying to cut the weight. I was like 2.5 weeks out, and I was like, oh, I should probably lose this 20 pounds I have to lose. And we ended up getting pretty close. I didn't even actually make weight. I think it was the only time I missed weight too, and it was that bad of a weight cut. But everything happens for a reason, and I learned a lot from it. And that's luckily when I got hooked up with you right after that fight, and I haven't had a problem with weight cuts since then. And actually, they just keep getting better and better.
Nice, absolutely. And that's kind of like the big thing. And also, I just want to apologize for us kind of being gross. We just got done with our workout.
Yeah.
Kind of filming this on the fly, but that's kind of why I do this and we do this. Evan helps spread the word, is you shouldn't feel like junk. So what, if you had to say the 3 biggest things that you've learned on the past, what is this, our 5th weight cut since then?
Yeah.
So the past 5 weight cuts, what would you say, if you had to tell everybody 3 things that would change your life, what are your 3 things?
Same thing as always, is just discipline. That's the biggest thing, is just that was by far my worst habit I used to have whenever I was cutting weight. I would try to get away with as much as possible. I'd be like, okay, how much of this bad food can I get away with and still be okay? Instead of now, I'm just like, okay, it's not even worth even touching it. For one, I'm a fat kid at heart. So whenever I have just a little bit, I don't want just a little bit. It turns into a lot. So it's easier for me to just completely deny it in the first place. And then for 2, you could eat so much more healthy food, so I can be much more full and eat much more satisfied, eat a lot more. So instead of having one Reese's peanut butter cup, I could have freaking a full chicken breast and some rice or something, get so much more nutritional value out of it and be much more full. So just discipline, staying completely away from the stuff even if you don't know. Even whenever I was having bad weight cuts, I didn't know that much about nutrition. I knew I wasn't supposed to be eating candy. So,
Yeah.
so
A lot of times it's
even
just
if you
common
don't
sense.
know exactly, what you should be eating, you know what you shouldn't, so just stay away from that stuff completely. Another thing is, definitely the kind of like the timing of your meals. Don't just eat whenever, try to get in a routine, eat. I mean, that's just the way I like to do. I like to just be in a routine, so I wake up, I eat breakfast, I go train. As soon as I get back home, I eat. And then I relax, and then I might have a little snack before I go train again. And then as soon as I get done training, I make sure the first thing I do is go home to eat, and then carry on with whatever else. But and then definitely water intake. That is definitely huge. So a lot of times, huge. I think a lot of people, they don't drink enough water. So I was trying to get at least about 1.5 gallons, and then hopefully about 2 gallons in almost every day. Whenever I was cutting weight, and you just feel great. It's just so important.
How would you say the water cut specifically has changed since you started hydrating profusely ahead of time?
Gosh.
Tell us about your sauna trips now.
Yeah, it's so much better. I used to try to cut about 10 pounds in water. That was like the normal. I was like, okay, I'm 10 pounds out. I can do my water cut now. And now it's just like I'm 10 pounds out. I'm like, dang, I still got a little bit to go, because I know I just feel so much better the less water I cut. I'll even take being the littler guy every time. I'll cut more fat and less water, and take being the littler guy, because that's the one I would say fault of cutting more water weight is you don't put on as much weight for the fight. So
right,
but I'm totally so I'm totally all right with not killing myself and dehydrating myself super bad to feel much better and just be the smaller guy. If somebody beats me because they're a couple pounds bigger than me, they should probably beat me anyways. So
it's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, so I'm all about just feeling good now. So so now I was cutting upwards to 10 pounds in water, and now at most I do 6.
And what was your length of time in the sauna prior to now?
Oh man, I remember my bad weight cut. I spent like right at 3 hours on the sauna, and I ended up breaking. It was like the only time I was like, okay, I was hyperventilating. I was like, I gotta get out of here. I think I was internally too hot, just because you shouldn't be freaking sitting in the sauna for 3 hours.
No, shouldn't be that dehydrated for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And but now I rock out a quick freaking hour and 15 minutes or so. It's really not even that bad. Couple trips in and out, and then I'm good. I'm good to go.
Nice.
And the biggest difference is like as soon as I start rehydrating, like as soon as I get my Pedialyte in my mouth after weigh-ins, I'm like, bam, I feel great. Like,
right back at it.
Yeah, and then before I'd be like, oh my, all night I would still just be freaking just feeling crappy, and not until the next day I would finally be starting to feel a little bit better. And but immediately now I'm just like, oh man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to eat some food and just rest. And but before I felt like I was dying.
We don't want that.
No.
When you lose too much water, you actually affect your performance up to 30%, which is huge, and you can feel that.
I can definitely vouch for that, because it's definitely especially with that one really bad weight cut I had, my loss. But before I even knew, I'm sure I had plenty of times where I was dehydrated going into the fight, where I was getting more gassed, and I just didn't know any better. I thought that was just the normal, but now looking back at it, it was because I wasn't dieting and cutting weight correctly.
Did you ever feel hungry at all on any of the weight cuts?
No, and that's one of the biggest things. That's probably something I should have mentioned earlier with like the most important is like, man, I get to eat so much. I eat so much when I'm cutting weight. I eat way more than I do when I'm not cutting weight. It's just that it's all good food, so my body just burns it off so fast, but I'm constantly eating. I wake up, I eat a good...
Yeah, give us one day of eating on Evan's weight cut.
The good thing is just how much I get to eat, and it's just... I don't know, I just always feel great. So anyways, that's what I meant to say. The good thing is my portion sizes. I feel like I get to eat, it's not like I'm just like snacking You know, I
Tell
get to
everybody
eat good
what you
meals.
eat today, because you pretty much eat the same stuff. So if you
Yeah,
can rattle it off,
I'm a pretty routine person.
let everybody know how much food is actually a lot of food.
I like eating the same thing all day. You know, I don't know. That's something I guess I'm pretty fortunate with, is I don't mind eating the same thing over and over and over again. So I wake up in the morning. I usually have about 4 eggs, 3 pieces of turkey bacon, and 2 pieces of toast, or I switch it up with some sort of wrap, usually like a tomato or spinach, basil, some sort of wrap. So anyways, 4 eggs, 3 pieces of turkey bacon, 2 pieces of toast, sometimes even a protein shake or a piece of fruit. So I mean, that's a good sized breakfast. And then I usually take off to go train. And this whole time I'm always chugging water too. I usually like to wake up, slam a bunch of water, eat, and then drink more water. And then that way, just to make sure I got a little bit of water in me before I start training and stuff. And then so I eat my breakfast, go train, immediately come home. So this fight camp I was doing about a cup of brown rice, a full entire bag of steamed vegetables, and then
Whole bag, friends. The whole bag.
yeah, I was yeah, and it's so I feel so much better too whenever I'm eating it. I did for a little while there, I was having to force it, just to force down some of those veggies, because a whole plate full of vegetables is a little bit much, but it's I definitely could feel the difference. I felt much better. So I was eating a cup of brown rice, full bag of steamed vegetables, a full chicken breast, and a salad, all in one sitting. Like that was my normal meal, and I usually did that twice a day. So breakfast, train, lunch, and then I'd usually take a nap or just chill out at the house before I went back to train. And then I'd usually have a snack on my way to training or before, either just a protein shake, a small piece of fruit. Every once in a while, just for a little bit of carbs, I'd throw a piece of wheat toast in the toaster and just eat a piece of wheat toast. You know, just something small, sort of snack on my way to training. And then I'd get home and I'd almost eat the same thing. I'd have a little bit less carbs. I wouldn't do the full cup of rice, maybe half a cup, or just put some croutons in my salad.
Carbs are important, friends, for energy. When you don't have them, you feel like junk. But like, this is an obnoxious amount of food for a human being to stuff in.
Yeah.
And we got carbs, and we lost weight the whole time. And it's like,
Yeah.
the cool thing about this weight cut is you can be flexible, like as long as you're going down. So it's like you're able to have the fruits and the wraps, and it was fine. You know, that's just a ton of food, and it always just cracks me up, like how much food you actually get to consume in a day. So it's like you never want to be starving yourself. And that was another thing I wanted to ask you about. With recovery, like what have you learned about like sleep, or like what could you tell everybody about overtraining during their weight cuts? What would you say to people about that? Because that's
I would say overtraining. Honestly, I think that was one of my biggest. I wouldn't say, I guess maybe a problem, but overtraining was like one of the biggest problems I ran into this weight cut. Was so almost during the beginning of the week, I would start out the lightest, and then it was like gradually as the week went, as I was going through the week, I was losing weight, and then right towards the middle of the week, I was just kind of plateau, and then I knew I should still be losing weight, but I wasn't. And then towards the end of the week, I'd be waking up kind of sore and a little bit beat up, and by the time Saturday rolled around, I only trained once in the morning, and then I'd have Saturday night and then all Sunday off. That was my rest time. And in that time, I would lose a lot of weight. So I think what it was is my body was kind of getting mad at me. It was a little bit overtrained and freaking out. So it was like, oh my God, we're dying, you know? So it was holding on to everything. And then when I took those rest days, it was like, gave my body a chance to breathe and realize, okay, we're fine. We're going to just let go. You know, we're fine to let go of everything. And I'd usually end up losing a couple pounds on my rest days.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just
So
going to
rest
bed.
is so important. Get your sleep, get your rest, take care of your body, because it responds to the scale. I mean, your scale responds to it. So you'll lose weight whenever you're actually doing less sometimes.
And what kind of things would you tell people to look out for? Like, if this happens, you're probably overtrained. Like, what things have you found personally? Because I'm sure it's a little bit different for everybody.
I think those two are the biggest. Is when I was waking up sore, really sore, just like, waking up kind of beat up. If you're doing that consistently, and it usually happens towards the end of the week, you know, for me personally, because I had Saturday, Sunday off, Saturday night and then Sunday off. So that was like my recovery days. I'd get kind of like my reset button. You know, I started feeling good towards the beginning of the week. So I'd start the week off strong, feeling good. And usually by about Thursday or Friday, I'd start kind of getting a little bit sore, and my weight would stop moving. It would kind of plateau. And I think that's like the two big indicators that you might be overtraining.
And what about your performance in class? Like, did you notice a difference with that at all?
I did, yeah. Whenever I thought I was getting a little bit overtrained, I was getting gassed fast. You know, my muscles were just like, man, we need a break. You know, give us the time to relax and repair ourselves. And I could definitely feel that. So yeah. So by the time I took Saturday night, Sunday off, Monday morning, man, I was golden. You know, everything felt good. I was because then the thing is, I knew I was in much better shape than what I was performing during practice. You know, on those Fridays or Saturdays, whenever I was starting to get worn out, I was like, I know I should be in better shape than that. And I know I was in better shape, but my body was just tired, and it was getting, you know, it just needed a break.
Yeah, most people, what we tend to do is jam in a pre-workout or freaking caffeine to push through that feeling, but it's just going to cause a bigger issue that you got to recover from. So taking a nap is good. I'm glad you got your recovery. You're all up on it. How big? So, and the one thing we talk about, the recovery before the fight. So you see a lot of people like smashing it the week before the fight. Like, I got to run around in circles. I still got to, you know, lose too much weight or whatever. Whatever the case may be, people smash it like super hard the week of the fights. Like, what would you say about rest week versus smashing it the week of the fight?
So for instance, this weight cut, I was a little bit worried about it because I got like super sick, I guess just from traveling and flying home. The temperature change was probably a big problem, but I got super sick, probably the worst I've ever felt in my life. And I was so sick I didn't want to train. I didn't train at all the week of my fight almost, which I wouldn't recommend that. But I was so sick I just didn't even feel like it. I was just miserable. But I was still, my diet was so on point that I was still able to keep losing weight even from not training. So, and I actually, but the thing was I was sick, and I knew I shouldn't have been training, because if I was sick and still trying to work out on not eating very much food, you know, because it was the week of the weigh-ins, you know, so it's not like
I lightest.
Yeah, I'm at my very lightest, you know, so it was just going to be too much on my body to still be trying to work out and repair itself from the workout and trying to kick this whatever was going on and whatever type of illness I had. So I actually ended up just doing, there was a couple, you know, I would do light stuff. I would do like mobility circuits, move around, you know, a little bit of shadow boxing, kind of moving around, but I really wasn't like training. I wasn't doing like a full training session or anything.
Yeah,
I
you're just
took
keeping
the
the
whole
muscles
entire
warm,
week
but
of the fight off essentially, and just let my body repair and kick that illness. And luckily I was feeling better by the time of the fight. And so you don't need to be going crazy. You know, you should be, your weight cut. I think the problem is people, they slack on their weight cut beforehand, so they still have weight to lose, and they're still trying to burn a lot of calories, you know, running around training and not eating enough. So, you know, it's like they've kind of, they waited too long to finish up their weight cut, and they're still trying to jam it in at the end, when I think it's even better to just kind of relax, and as long as you were eating the right way, you know, you should still be losing weight enough to get down to where you can be able to finish it with your water cut
without having to beat your muscles down, because it takes a few days to recover, so you don't want to.
Yeah, you're not getting as much food, because it's, I mean, like I said, it's the week of the weigh-ins, so you know we're at our lightest, very lightest, and we're not eating enough food to be repairing and replenishing our muscles for hard workouts. You know, a light workout, moving around, staying active is important. But don't be overdoing it. We don't need to be doing a full training session or lifting weights or anything like that. So
yeah, anything you don't want to recover from during your fight, you definitely want to do it ahead of time. So what's the next step for Evan Elder? I know we're down. You want to tell us a little bit about your time at Hard Knocks? So you just went down there. You've been having...
That place is awesome, man. I absolutely love Hard Knocks 365. They're just an amazing gym, awesome people, awesome training partners, amazing coaches. All around, just amazing, and I love it down there. And right now it's looking like hopefully probably sometime in July. I think we're looking around like July 13th is just a date that's up in the air right now. So hopefully get my third win and keep the ball rolling, you know, keep these first round finishes coming.
Yes, amen. We're looking forward to seeing you in July.
Well, thank you.
And thank you very much for hanging with me and talking about the weight cuts.
Thank you for everything. Yeah, I seriously, you helping me with my weight cuts have completely changed my game. That's for sure, because it is unbelievable how important your nutrition is, and not even just your nutrition, but your strength and conditioning program, your rest. I mean, it's just everything plays together, man. It's just you have to you got to find that homeostasis, right?
Homeostasis.
Homeostasis,
Yeah, you got it.
whatever it is, and just where everything's working together, yeah, you just got to be able to put everything together.
Yep.
You know, you can't be missing a part of anything.
It throws the whole game off.
Yep.
Darn right. All right, well, keep looking out for Evan Elder. He'll be fighting for Shamrock probably July. Check him out on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
At Elder Evan.
All right, at Elder Evan on Instagram. He's got cool pictures up, lots of good story stuff. And then check us out on Killer Tendencies at killertendencies.com. We'll be putting up a lot more vlogs on strength and conditioning and weight cuts.